Other interesting culture news, you have Bud Light Chief Marketing Officer leaving, finally, which kind of goes to show you how ridiculous it took them a little over half a year to recognize their unparalleled ineptitudes. Again, from a cultural significance, this was the biggest backfire business blunder in history, I would venture to say, where they thought, you know what? Dylan Mulvaney is a very popular individual. There are companies like Maybelline and tampon companies giving this individual hundreds of thousands and even $1 million contracts. So we're trying to read the air. We think this is a cultural win to put our brand behind this individual. Because our fratty traditionally conservative customers, they probably agree with this individual. And no, they were wrong. Now, specifically, a gentleman by the name of Binod Garb will be stepping down by the end of the year. And let's see here. They directly noted that instance with Dylan Mulvaney. And of course, the marketing blunder was so bad, they lost their number one spot of being the number one beer month over month for years. They were actually the number one beer for about 20 years. And thanks to this marketing blunder, they just shot themselves in the foot. And Modelo actually overtook that spot earlier this year. Which, again, to clarify, in the United States, Modelo is a separate business brand. It's owned by Constellation Brands. Now, globally, yes, Modelo is owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. However, if you're in the United States and you believe in the boycott and you do not want to support Anheuser-Busch InBev, rest assured you can purchase Modelo guilt-free. Now, that being said, if you're buying everything else, look at the 40 plus other beer brands that are owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev, because you may or may not be supporting them appropriately or boycotting them appropriately. Personally, I like to support family-owned businesses every time I can. So at my recent IT cybersecurity event, we actually brought the whole display of Yangling from our local big box mart. And they're still family-owned after all these years in the oldest family-owned brewery, though we're not sponsored by them. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But nevertheless, it looks like the U.S. Chief Commercial Officer Kyle Norrington will subsequently take over for that marketing position. And they brag about how they won that this is a LinkedIn article specifically by Kara Reinhart. And they brag about how they won that multi-year, they called it a lucrative deal with the UFC, which, again, I don't think that's a lucrative deal. You're paying $100 million, a record amount. It's good for the UFC, but how many UFC fans really are going to be influenced by that? It's like, you saw the logo on the octagon. Is that going to make you go buy the brand? Are you going to respect the brand now? I mean, it's one of those instances where sometimes the marketing is very hard to measure the ROI. Well, in this case with Dylan Mulvaney, it's very easy to see that big sales drop precipitously by 30%. They had lost $400 million compared to the last fiscal Q2 specifically alone. And that's very easy to quantify. But when it comes to like putting your logo on a screen or on something on a sports balls game, I'm always pretty pessimistic. And one of the reasons I don't do those types of things is it's kind of hard to measure that. So let me know in the comments, do you think, will the UFC event, is that going to be a successful marketing campaign when people are going to see it and they go, oh yeah, that's going to make me want to buy a case of Bud Light now because they're in the middle of the octagon. I mean, that might be a thing. I mean, when it comes to Bud Light, I still think the Magic 8 Ball is still going to say the outlook is not so good. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in again today. Don't forget to take the time to subscribe. We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of November, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to give me feedback. Let me know how I can make the show better and better and improve the quality. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.